Hello friends. As we all know, on March 16, 2020, Government of India had shut down all educational institutions, including schools, colleges and universities. Little did anyone know that overnight an entire educational system would come to a standstill for an indefinite period of time. Over 25 crore children were impacted. There were many challenges, but with a smile on their faces and great compassion in their hearts, the teachers and school authorities worked day and night to make the impossible possible. Their only focus was to ensure continuity of education for their students. People have been talking and celebrating our doctors, nurses, policemen. However, no one has really recognized the efforts put in by our teachers. Today, we would like to pay gratitude to our unsung COVID warriors, our teachers. We went across the board to interview some of the eminent principals of schools in India. Let's hear what they have to say.
I think the lockdown kind of gave every industry, every sector issues and challenges. And whilst many of them had a break, there was a lockdown, purely a lockdown. I think the teaching fraternity didn't have any break. There was no preparation for them to say, okay, you have this much time, you get yourself prepared, you will be going on to an online platform. Overnight, I think the schools, the teachers, educators across the globe, and even India for that matter, I would say, rose up the challenge, and I think they're doing that every day and night. Every day the pandemic is throwing up a new challenge in terms of even online teaching, and the teachers go on to counter. Some of our schools where we've had technology in our lives, as an everyday matter. Our teachers, for example, at our school, teachers work with laptops. All teachers had laptops. That was the case, and there was a certain comfort level with technology. But that is not the case pan-India. There are many educators who have risen up, who have understood the ABC of a bandwidth, got their home connections completely spruced up to rise up to this. So huge challenges, but I would give the schools and I would give our educators a great thumbs up to say that fantastic. Kudos to all of you for what you're doing.
The obvious challenge, which probably has been worldwide and particularly with us, is the transition from offline to online mode of teaching suddenly without any notice. Of course, everybody has been using technology in the classrooms per se, but from that warm, I would say, face-to-face contact to suddenly being transported to overnight, literally, to the Zoom platform and to the other platforms, I think were the biggest challenge. The fact that also, when we looked at the teachers and all the teachers, all age groups, obviously the youngsters were a lot more techno savvy, and the transition had to be done in a way where the classroom teaching and engagement with the children had to be looked at. So with all age groups, it was a challenge, but I would definitely think that we were able to manage effectively, because the month of April and the middle of May happened to be the experimental month. So it was interesting to note that even parents were so supportive, and parents were also finding new ways, so parents were sitting with the children. Sometimes both of them would be on the screen. And I think it was also very unnerving for the teachers.
सबसे ज़्यादा परेशानी इस चीज़ से कि जो एक तो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स, लड़कियां जो है वो उनसे संपर्क नहीं हो पा रहा, अभी भी नहीं हो पा रहा है। और दूसरी चीज़ है, हमारे यहाँ के जो बच्चे हैं वो इतने जो है उनके पास साधन नहीं है कि जो है उनके इन सब माध्यमों से पढ़ सकें। हम लोग कोशिश जरूर कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप समझिए कि मैक्सिमम हम लोग 40% जो है बच्चे मात्र वो कवर कर पा रहे हैं। अच्छा, हमारी चल रही हैं, तो बाकी जो है वो 60% स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो उनको जब भी वो स्कूल खुलेगा तो आप समझिए हमको उनको फिर से पढ़ाना होगा हमारे टीचर्स। और वो एक्चुअली उन्हें, हमारे टीचर्स को भी ये पता है, इसलिए वो मेंटली प्रिपेयर है इसके लिए।
I'm blessed to be working with the educators that I work. And some of the educators have gone par excellence in terms of their dedication and commitment to the role. Not only some, in fact, many of them, most of learning technology, switching over from a Zoom platform to a Microsoft Teams platform, ensuring how do I reach out children in smaller groups, whether it is reaching out to, we have children from the economically weaker sections, as all schools have, whether it's having separate classes for them, whether it's conducting classes at 4:30 in the evening, or if it's reaching out, conducting because a Zoom fatigue, it's called the Zoom fatigue of an online fatigue is very different from a classroom fatigue. Understanding that, okay, I do want to reach out to children, but I cannot overstretch their time, so I finish at 12:31, give them a time for some time in the daytime, and then have something in the evening, storytelling for them to do in the evening, to everybody log on, whoever's interested, doing that for children. I have children with special needs in school. I know that their small group classes, my special educators work way beyond their regular school hours to ensure that I reach out to this child.
We were happy to have a workshop which was dealing with pedagogy, which was dealing with, let's say, how do you research materials online to be able to design very new lesson plans. I mean, the same lesson plans that were being used, in the classroom were the base, but to be able to use it and redesign the lesson plan was a very Herculean exercise. But I must say, all teachers, and it was a hard-working period for the teachers in terms of the summer. I would say that normally a lot more work went in the vacations and through the lockdown for the teachers. I think the work that they had to put in was double.
मैथ्स की हमारी जो लेक्चरर हैं वो जो है इसी उम्र की हैं, इनफैक्ट रिटायरमेंट करीब हैं, तो लेकिन नहीं, वो जो है टीचर से सीख करके या अपने बच्चों के जो है मदद से वो क्लासेस लेती हैं. उनकी तो पीपीटी बहुत अच्छी और जो है बहुत उनको देख करके बाकियों को भी देख करके उन्होंने कहा कि जब शशि मैम ऐसा कर सकती हैं तो निश्चित रूप से हम लोग भी जो है कर सकते हैं.
We've had workshops on the little things, talking to them about what is the lockdown. Because if children are at home, what they've been exposed to is news every day with COVID numbers going up, globally what is happening. Families have lost members, staff members have lost members. They've seen all that. So for them, the pandemic is something that they are not comfortable with. So the responsibility to keep their morale high lies with families and the people that they're interacting with. And teachers take up 4-5 hours of their day. So hence, that responsibility, I think, fell majorly on our hands, and when to ensure that their peer group along with them stays in a positive mindset. That was something that I think our school just took upon it and said, okay, whatever be it, whether it's communication, you need to do connect time, you need to have individual sessions with the children. In a class, when you walk into class and you see children greeting you in chirpiness and you feel the happiness quotient. I think in the present scenario, when you log on to a class and children are going on saying Namaste ma'am, and you hear snippets and you hear bites, and you feel that yes, that the happiness quotient of the children is at a good level. They are how I would want them to be. Then you go back to feel that, yeah, okay, I've done my job. I'm doing it. And I feel that it's commendable for the teachers to ensure that for the children in the present time, in the present scenario.
Yeah.
We also discovered that there were other mental health issues, and it was not just basically academic teaching and learning that was important. We started actually having more classes for our emotional health of the students, and our counselors, particularly our counselors and the social health department, they reached out, and we managed to actually send a circular to the children as well as the parents to say that if there's any kind of problem, please reach out to this particular cell. And I think it worked because children got the confidence of writing independently, and many issues that came were addressed by the counselor at a one-to-one level, at a one-to level. But I also want to say something very positive. I mean, you started with the fact that, the Good for India, it is something, a great positive movement. I hope it does become, and we're all with you. I think it was amazing how sometimes in adversity, the best of creativity comes out among the children. You just have to trigger them off. And I'm pleased to tell you that we used to have one of our inter-house competitions, which was totally designed, choreographed by the kids themselves. And suddenly with the lockdown, I mean, they were so disappointed. So they decided to do the entire function online. And they created amazing sort of visuals, scripts and stories, and the whole thing had such a positive air about it, and so much of creativity sitting at home was actually done, led by our president of the Students' Council. In fact, I was amazed because we thought that the children won't really do it, but they didn't give up. So in the end of July, we also managed to release something called a news channel,